This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of all elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end, no safety or surprise. The end, I'll never look into your eyes again. Can you picture what will be? So limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate land.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having a good night. Welcome to the Tin Rabbit Podcast, the last Tin Rabbit podcast, and I'll explain why in a minute. But thank you all for tuning in. First, I'd like to get started by reminding everyone that this is a fictional portrayal. This program is a fictional portrayal of a single knucklehead who is pretending to be a conspiracy expert. This podcast in no way should be considered informational and is for entertainment purposes only. The guest opinions are their own and may or may not reflect the views of the Tin Rabbit Podcast. So, what I want to get started with tonight is, like I said earlier, this is going to be the last show. I don't really usually have a whole lot of time to dedicate to researching the show and making a production value to it. And I don't really want to take much dedication to it. This wasn't something I really wanted to set out to do myself. So I'm making way for anyone else who feels that they should step out and make a stream about conspiracy theories, or any stream. Anyone should get up there and voice their opinions. But for today, what I really want to get into is with the election that just happened yesterday. It's been over 24 hours since it's happened. We now know that President Trump is going to be our president. And I wanted to talk about the conspiracies that have been coming around about the election that has just transpired. Now, a few of the conspiracy theories that I've heard about are that there's a big talk about Democrats Democrats wanting to sue Trump or try to find some legal way to disqualify Trump's presidency. They want to make it seem like, and they're trying to use Elon Musk as the scapegoat or the guinea pig for this trick. What they're doing to Trump is that they want to make it so that they can say that Elon Musk was buying votes for Trump, and that is under the Constitution somewhere as being illegal. That's what I've heard. Again, it's just a conspiracy. Whether or not that plays out or it bears true, I don't really know. We're going to find out. Um, uh, there's also conspiracies about how Kamala Harris only won the states she won because a lot of the Dominion voting machines were in the state that she won. So there's, again, that sneaking up conspiracy theory of Dominion machines being easily hackable and easily used to rig elections. Now, whether or not you believe in that, and I believe there's enough evidence to warrant some kind of investigation, because honestly, any kind of computer system can easily be hacked, especially if you have like a program that runs off a thumb drive. It's really easy to hack these kind of devices. So that one, I think, should bear a little more evidence before people really start grasping onto it, not just being a conspiracy theory, but being more factual. You know what I mean? But otherwise, other than that, I also want to touch on a few things about what can we expect about a Trump presidency? What are we going to see in the next few years? And we'll get into that. Let me thank everyone here. KYE, you're here. Good to see you, buddy. Nihilo, good to see you, buddy. Glad you guys can stop in. Hey, Mom. Oh, it must be real early in the morning for you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping in. Mouse, good to see you, buddy. I would play one of your tracks, man, but StreamYard won't let me play the music without upgrading the account, and I don't really want to do that. So the only thing I could do is play something off of YouTube. You know what? I could probably find your account on YouTube and play something off of there. I'll look into that as the closing video, Mouse. I'll play something of yours, man. Well, let's get into it. The main conspiracy that I've been hearing is like the Democrats are talking about wanting to get Trump disqualified. And I've heard various different things of how they want to get Trump disqualified. From certain more conservative outlets, I've heard that that Democrats are trying to disqualify Trump by citing the quote unquote insurrection on January 6th. Now, if you ask me if January 6th was an insurrection, I don't think that was an insurrection. I think that was just a bunch of disgruntled people that protested, and they took that protest a little too far. It's the same thing as when BLM, Black Lives Matter, was starting to get violent. You know, it was just a protest that people took too far, and it ruined the entire point of what it was that they were protesting. And that was unfortunate, but under no circumstances, in my personal opinion, do I think it was an insurrection. I think it was just misinformed, foolish people taking things a little too far. But another thing I heard about that Democrats are trying to disqualify was the main one. The main one I hear everywhere is the one that about trying to disqualify him for having Elon Musk buy votes. That one I can see them trying to litigate. It's something that Democrats would do. They're real conniving kind of people. You know, they'll tie you up in court and try to make you go broke through court before they finally break you as a person. It's their MO. It's what they've always done. I could see them doing that to Trump again and Musk. This could be a way for them to try to kitty corner a way into attacking Musk even more. I don't know. This is my personal conspiracy theory there, but you take it as a grain of salt, whatever. And the last conspiracy theory I heard about the Democrats trying to disqualify Trump is that they're trying to say that he rigged the election. Now, this one's very far-fetched, but this is mostly from shitlibs that are coping really hard, is that they're saying that Trump himself rigged the election for him to win the states that he did, because a lot of these shit libs that are coping really hard are saying that certain states that he won, like Wisconsin and Michigan, he shouldn't have won, and they're more than positive that people were rigging the elections for him in those states without any evidence. They're just saying these things, and it's the severe copium that a lot of the shit libs are doing right now, and it's really sad, and I love every second of it. I enjoy reveling in the schadenfreude of everything that's happening to the Democrats right now, honestly, because they deserve everything that is happening to them. But for those conspiracy theories, I don't think any of them are going to pan out. They're all just ridiculous copium that people are spouting out, trying to figure out something, anything that will give them hope and not come to the realization that we're going to get another 4 years of Trump. And the reason I wanted to talk about that was because it leads into my next topic: is what can we expect about Trump for the next 4 years? Now, this is my personal predictions. Everyone else has their own personal predictions. I'm not always right. Hell, I'm barely ever right, especially when we're looking 3-4 years down the road when anything can possibly change. But Donald Trump is going to be a real problem as a president. Like, not because he's Donald Trump, but because everyone in politics is a real egotistical maniac. And now that the Republicans have complete control of all three branches of the government, and they have an egomaniacal fucking maniac and Trump as their leader in office, I can see them passing some really stupid identity politics laws. And I could see them doing some things that will change certain aspects of our lifestyles. But that remains to be seen. What I really predict coming up with Trump is he's still going to support the Israel war. He's already said it before he ever even took his first podium in the debates. He was ready to defend Israel. He was ready to support Israel. It's something he's going to do. He's going to come in day one. Maybe if the war is wrapped up by then. There's rumors, hearsay that I heard in certain chats that Trump had said that he told Netanyahu he should wrap up the war before he takes over next year. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have any sources for that. It's just hearsay. It's what I heard. Whether or not that's true, what I do know is I have seen videos of people saying that he would fully support Israel and that he would be okay with what Israel is doing. I think that very first thing he's going to do is he's still going to support Israel, but he's going to try to tone it down to a point where, like, it's already been toned down. Israel has done a good job of controlling the narrative coming out of there. They took care of enough journalists by killing them off in order to control the narrative better. Right now, they have a better control over the narrative. We still get the news of certain sources coming out, like Vanessa. INN has interviewed her a couple times, and she comes out with a lot of the relevant news of what's going on there now. And there's still reporters there, but not to the extent or level that there was when they had offices and reporters there in Israel itself, in Gaza, and all around the places. There was people there to report it, and there aren't that many people there left to report on it, even though we still have our few sources. Hopefully they'll stick around and we can still hear from them, because we really need those people. They're giving us the truth of what's going on there, and not the mainstream narrative lie that needs to be programmed into the people so they can sell this war. What I do predict that Trump's going to end up doing is he's just going to change directions. He's going to go and start trouble with China. He's always had a beef with China. He's always wanted to stop China, but we can't really do a whole lot to China. China holds a lot of our debt. They hold a lot of our production because we decided to pass NAFTA and other laws that shipped our production jobs overseas. We don't produce anything here anymore. we just assemble things here in the US. Everything is produced either in China or Afghanistan or India, anywhere that they can get cheap labor and manipulate and how do the communists say it? They extract wealth from the people there. You know, they like to, as capitalism is, it's intrinsically predatory, and we can't fully go against China the way it is. I don't think that's me saying anything that's new to anyone here. If we went to war with China, we're going to lose. It's plain and simple. And I think the one thing I do think Trump will do that'll be beneficial to all of us is he will start toning down and backing away from this Ukraine war. I don't know if he will do it completely or if he won't. I really don't know. I don't trust Trump. I still think he's a warmonger. I don't trust I don't trust when people tell me that he's anti-war. I don't believe that for 1 second. So if he does turn around and start toning down and even backing out of the Ukraine war, you know what? I'll give Trump the thumbs up. Hey man, good job. That's actually a good thing he would have done for a president. You know who didn't do that? Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, who not only funded this war for the past several years, they would have been funding it if they had won the election. We would still be funding Ukraine and we would still be funding Israel. But I still think we're going to be funding Israel with Trump in office. It's what he does. What I do think he'll end up doing with Ukraine, though, is what he did with Afghanistan. He's going to tone it down, back out, and start making plans for extraction. But he's not going to do it till the end of his administration, so that he can say, look, I got us out of a war like he did with Afghanistan. You know, the whole thing he had with Afghanistan, he always talks about, oh, you know, I'm anti-war. I never started any wars. I never had any wars. You didn't need any wars. The warmongers were already happy. They had Afghanistan. You guys were still bombing Syria. You guys were still having pseudo CIA missions over to Ukraine before the Ukraine situation popped off. So don't sit there and pretend like you're anti-war. You already had your hands full and you didn't need any extra wars. So what did you do? You pretended to be the anti-war president and start making plans of extracting us from a 20-year war from Afghanistan. But you weren't going to do it till the end of your presidency. And I guarantee if he had won a re-election, he would have ended up extending it even more. He would have been like, oh, we can't leave there. We just can't, like he did after Biden did it. He's going to sit there and say, oh, we can't leave there without doing it slowly. You got to do it slowly. You got to do it good. You know, you got to do it bigly. He's going to want to do it slowly so he can stretch it out across his own presidency, so he can always say, hey, look, I was the anti-war president. And that's another reason why he won't want to do a full-on war with China. He's going to want to do an economic pseudo-war with Taiwan and China, the way they're doing Ukraine and China. He's going to want to do what Pelosi wants. That's why Pelosi's going to want to go along with it, because it's what they want to do. They want some form of war so they can make money off it. Another thing that I unfortunately think they're going to do is I believe in the hype that a lot of these fucking shitlibs are saying, and they might actually, since they have complete control of government, they might actually make abortion a constitutional, they might make it illegal through constitutional amendment. Why I think that is because it's what they've always said they wanted to do. It's what they said they would do if they ever had control of power. It's what they've been saying for decades, since the 80s, since as far back as I can remember. They've always been saying they would do this if they had power. Whether or not they do it, we'll wait and see. The Democrats, when they had this exact same power, they had control of all three branches of government, and they had supermajorities. They could have codified Roe v. Wade into law and never had to deal with this situation. But what did they do? They played football. They played loosey football with it, and they just dangled the carrot in front of people for too long, and they put themselves in a situation where they gave the Republicans the ability and power to do this to them. So if it so happens that Trump actually does come out and make it so that he passes a constitutional amendment that makes abortion illegal, the Democrats and women in America have nobody to blame but the Democrats themselves. So I wouldn't even blame Trump if he did it. He would not be in the position he is in to do what he is capable of doing if not for the Democrats doing what they did. So by all means, you can call Trump anything you want if he passed that law. But bottom line is, if he passes that law, it's your fault, Democrats. You could have prevented the whole thing by doing it first, and you didn't do it. Why? Because you wanted more money. You wanted it as that political carrot. They still use it. Kamala Harris was using it for her campaign. Oh, if you want to defend women's rights and you want me to make Roe v. Wade into law, you should vote for me. She said that in her campaign. It was one of her campaign promises. They still use it, and they're going to use it in the. All I got to say is everything that is happening today and with Trump's election, Democrats have nobody to blame but themselves. And will the Democrats look in a mirror and say, "Hey, this is our fault. We should unfuck ourselves. We need to straighten our shit out." Are they going to do that? No. They'll never do that. Why? Because they're the Democrats. They don't care. They're going to get their money. In fact, I guarantee you, even though Kamala Harris has a huge ego. And now that she lost this election, she needs some time to fluff up that ego. She has to rebuild that ego because she just lost to Trump. That stung her personally. And I guarantee you that's not the last time we're going to see Kamala Harris, unfortunately. This is only going to embolden her to come back and do this all over again, man. And then the thing she won't have when she's going in the next time is going up against Trump. This is all messed up, man. And the worst part is, I'm not happy with Trump being president. I'm not happy with Kamala or Biden being president. I don't want any of these motherfuckers in power. They don't do anything for us. None of us here, anybody that's listening to me right now, what the fuck has any of these presidents ever done for you personally? Nothing. They've done more for large corporations and public entities than they will ever do for you. By comparison, your life was better under Trump when Biden was president, but that's by comparison. We have numbed ourselves to the feeling and remembrance of how bad it was under Trump too. We just don't remember it, especially because he got started. The end of his presidency had the start of the COVID era, and honestly, that is probably going to go down in history as one of the worst eras in American history, next to, I don't know, the measles. It was a gigantic mind screw, and everyone fell for it, man. And it sucks because that just goes to show that if there ever is an actual real outbreak out there of something that would really kill all of us, we're never going to know. We're not going to believe it because we're going to be the kid that cried wolf too many times. You're the kid that cried wolf. You told us that this was a danger, this was hazardous to ourselves, and we had to inject ourselves with all kinds of unproven vaccines that you had to change the definition for in order to call them vaccines. This is messed up. Our American government should not be doing this to us, and we allow it to happen, and it's going to happen again. And the worst part is, the next time it happens, we're going to be sitting there pretending like, oh, is this going to be another COVID? Or are we actually going to be in some serious danger? They already tried to do it with the quote unquote bird flu that was poisoning our meat sources and everything, man. And it's frightening to think that the future we're leaving our children is a society where our government is okay with eradicating millions of us. But that's what I wanted to talk about today. If you guys want, I'll be here for about 5 more minutes to make it a full half hour. If you guys have questions, please put them in the chat. I'm gonna bring up some chats and read these things through. That's all I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. And thanks a lot for listening. So let's go here to the top. All right, here's one from Mom. Yeah, it was a rather last minute thing. I had wanted to do something else. Um, I wanted to do a show about the conspiracy theories behind the Bilderberg meetings and the owl god Moloch. I wanted to go into this because I feel like it's one of those conspiracy theories that are real deep and real, real far fetched, but real believable. Though it's one of those crazy ones. And when I tried to sit down and start doing the research and try to get videos, copyrighted videos, so I can play them and not get my channel or video taken down, and trying to get clips of everything, and I couldn't do anything. And by the time I started doing one project, I would run into another project that I needed to do, and I never had enough time to do any of it, which led me to my decision that this isn't really for me. I don't have the time or dedication to put to something like this. So I'm going to be moving on. Let's see. It's all good, Cookies. Thank you for what you have done already. I'll never forget the 10 Rabbit podcast. Right on, Michael. And I'll be around in the chats, man. I just won't be streaming anymore. It's not my gig, man. Oh, what's up, Snark? I didn't see you come in, man. What's up, dude? Oh, you're gonna miss it. It's okay. Life will go on. I'll still see you in the HLM chats. Shout out to Kit. Kit is a trooper, man. Like, Kit and Sabby are troopers. Sabby Sabs, I remember, did one time where she did a 4-hour stream, went on what was that, call-in, and did call-in for like 5 hours straight until like about 4 or 5 in the morning. I was like, man, lady, you're a machine. And then Kit and all the guys from INN were over doing that stream yesterday for 9 hours. Oh man, you guys are machines. Great job. Shout out to Kit and shout out to INN. Shout out to Savvy too. Fuck it. Dems could do that, but Musk was pretty stupid to pull such a stunt in the first place. Yeah, I agree. He shouldn't have done that. Oh, that's all I got to say about that. Hey, Big Basin, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. Didn't see you come in. Sorry, I was focused on other things. Wesley, good to see you, sir. Let's see. We should have you on Noteworthy sometimes, Bad Cookies. We should talk about anarcho-communism. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, maybe someday I'll drop in and we can have that conversation. Because you know a lot of shit about theory and communism that I don't really know myself. I never really researched it. Honestly, anytime I've ever dealt with most communists, they've always been a real turnoff. They're real aggressive. You're like one of the coolest ones I've ever met. And I like knowing what you know. You know a lot of logic and a lot of the theory behind it. You and Mad Crab, but I don't really talk to Mad Crab as much as I do you. You're a smart dude, man, and I'd love to pick your brain, and I'd like to have that discussion someday. So anytime you want, man, just hit me up. Let's see, we got Snarky here. Mostly we don't even assemble. We put tires on, put instructions in boxes, and just move it. Look like an American factory is involved. Yeah, for real, man. It's all we do. We don't produce anything here. Anything that has a made in America sticker in it, look at the parts inside and you'll see they're made in China. So we don't really do anything here, man. And it's sad because of that we rely more on other countries, and because of that reliance it worsens our economy because we can't keep any jobs here. The more we send other jobs elsewhere, that's capitalism 101. Send the jobs wherever it is that you can get the lowest labor, because that maximizes your profits. And as long as we're going to be doing that, it's going to be worse for us here in America, because we already have inflation hurting all of our pockets. We are all suffering under this inflation nonsense that was brought about by excessive spending by both parties. Let's not just blame the Democrats on this. Yes, they accelerated the hell out of it, but let's not pretend like the Republicans weren't spending a lot of cash before them too. This has been a snowball effect that has happened decade after decade after decade. We just learned to get accustomed to it and accommodate to it, and each time it gets worse and worse, but we become numb to it and we don't realize it, and it's worse for us, man. We should really think about producing more things here, just for the sake of, as Michael would say, it's claiming the means of production. Did I get that right, man? Hopefully I did. Let me know if I got that wrong. I think Trump can be believed when he says he wants a warmer relationship with Russia. I do too. I think he doesn't want to fund Ukraine the way the Democrats do. But I still do think that Trump, as much of a dumbass that he is, he's not stupid, man. And he's not going to go up against the military industrial complex. So he's going to play ball with them as much as possible, because he doesn't want to end up like one of the Kennedys. A lot can be done between now and January when Trump takes office. Indeed, man. Indeed. Let's hope these asshats don't do anything stupid, man. Just bow out gracefully. You guys fucked up enough. That's up to Russia, though. It takes two to tango. Indeed. Indeed, man. Yep. And who gave them those helicopters, man? Who gave them those Hummers? The Taliban, for as much as America said that we were trying to fight the Taliban, trying to fight ISIS, hell, even trying to fight Palestine, these guys funded them. They give them the arms. It's so flabbergasting, man, that a lot of people today in society don't even know that we fund ISIS. If you tell them that we as America fund ISIS, they will call you an idiot. They'll be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then you sit there and prove it to them, and they won't believe your sources. They'll be like, that's stupid. They won't believe it. They'll shut themselves on. Like, man, you got to believe it. These people, we create our own enemies in order to have an enemy to attack. That way you can generate popular opinion. And as I forgot the author that said it, but you manufacture consent. But abortion helps with their depopulation agenda. I mean, your logic isn't flawed there. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. No lies detected, man. Yeah, I'm dishing out the tea. I don't know what I was dishing it out, but yeah, I got it out. Harris was terrible. I'm sure there are plenty of black women out there who are way more intelligent and charismatic than Kamala. There are. They're just not going to be put up as a Democratic candidate unless they bend the knee. We're not. And if they do that, they're not going to be anyone we want to hear from. All right, so I went a little longer. Sorry, I would keep reading through these chats and keep engaging with you guys because I love all of you guys, man. Thank you guys for coming in. Sorry, I can't be more dedicated to the channel, but I really don't want to take too much time to do all of this. Real quick, shout out to Old Man Barker. I see you snuck in here. I'll see you guys in the chats. Much love to all of you, all right? Take care.